Hello and welcome to another Blender know-how tutorial. In this video we're going to create this leg. This is probably one of the more complicated sections of the Lego creation uh, so far. Uh, yeah, so hopefully there's some things that we can learn in it. Let's go ahead and get started. Open up a brand new, I always do that. I'm going to open that back up and pull that over here so I can see it and make sure that I show the right things. Open up a new file, hit 1 on your numpad to go to the front view. Like I always do, if you haven't watched a lot of my tutorials, I like to almost always use the cubes. It just gives it cleaner geometry, for me at least. I'm going to go into subdivide it. This will give us the round shape that we want. So let's go into edit mode, and in the front view hit Control R and make these loop cuts that go to the sides. Whoops. And you can always Alt click on the line and double G and slide it. So Alt click on the line, double tap G, and it'll let you slide it on the line. So we are getting somewhere. I'm just going to change it to smooth. So from edit mode, just go into object mode, right click, shade smooth, and go back into edit mode by hitting tab again. Let's also do this. I'm going to cut my object in half slightly. Go into wireframe and hit X, delete those vertices, add modifier, mirror, just so we don't have to worry about it not being mirrored. I'm going to turn on clipping, hit A to select everything and drag it in, and then click to lock it, and then drag it out. That's what the clipping does, it locks it in so it doesn't move in the center. Sweet, so I'm just going to minimize that. Now go back into solid view. So now we have the basic look of this part. One more thing that I think I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of this edge. I guess just go into wireframe. Select all those edges and hit E, right click, and S. And then scale it down a little bit. And you can see these little dots to see how far you're scaling it down. And just do a little bit or so. That will make the edge a little bit more crisp. Sweet. Now let's go back into, let's go to object mode. I'm going to show another tool. It might be a little bit more complicated than other ways, but this will be a really good way to learn a new tool. So hit Shift A, add, and a cube. I'm going to drag it down a little bit. Go into the right side view by hitting 3 on your numpad and hit tab. And I'm not going to scale it down in all dimensions, but I'm just going to scale it down in the Y axis. And you can just click on that, on the Y on your keyboard, and move it up here. Now the main goal of this right here is to put it as close as you can so that it goes right in line. So if we go into object mode, you'll see it has a little bit of that, and as soon as we put the subdivision surface modifier on it and we hit Control R and drag this here and this here, we'll begin to see it'll be okay. But before you do that, this will actually be easier if you don't do that quite yet. Just go into wireframe mode and select all of those vertices and hit E and hit E again. Now make sure that the dimensions are somewhat close to what a Lego character's foot would be. This is what I have. This might be a little bit thin. You can make it a little bit thicker, but it will be something. Pay attention to the actual wireframe, not the subdivision surface yet. It'll look better in a second, and you can always just move that up a little bit, and then turn that back on. The reason why is we're just going to be throwing in a lot of loop cuts to make this look cleaner. So hit Control R and start loop cutting. So you'll want to put a loop cut here for sure, and a loop cut on the back. You'll also want a loop cut on the bottom, and a loop cut on the top of the bottom of the foot. So here and here. you're going to want a loop cut at the front here, and you'll want to loop cut back here. That will pull this curvature down. You're also going to want to loop cut here, and oh yeah, and we need to go into the front view and loop cut once here and here, and if you haven't loop cutted up here, should there. So just to recap, loop cut practically everything. It looks nice, and let's go into solid view. Yeah, it's looking okay. You'll see there's like this little issue here as of right now. That's an easy fix. Just go into edit mode and select everything, or in object mode you can just scale it down. I like to do it in edit mode a little bit better. Then just hit S and X to lock it to the axis, and just ever so slightly scale it there, and just you can even pull it open here. And you can even use arrow keys on your keyboard to give it that extra little. So there we go. That's looking pretty good. Another good thing that you should probably do that'll make it look even better is when you're in your object mode, go ahead and click back up on here. Go into. Oh, we already did it. Yeah, we're good. Maybe on this one. Yeah. So we're actually good. We're fine. This will disappear in a second, but you just want to get it as close to gone as possible. Now, take it, and I'm going to move it just a little bit that way. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to right-click Shade Smooth, and turn up the subdivision on that a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. The really cool thing that I was going to show here now is an extra tool called the join, and it's not the modifier over here that you can do with the Boolean. All you gotta do is select both of these. So click, shift click, and hit Control J, and it will join them. Sometimes though, however, you'll notice we have a mirror modifier, and this right here can sometimes give problems. The easiest way to fix this is make sure you go into your front view, go into wireframe, and select all the vertices that are on this side, and you can drag them in. Or, as far as simplicity, I think the easiest way is just delete these, and you'll see you have this now. Go back into your front view and select only the first row of vertices and hit E, and lock it to the x-axis and drag it into the center. The reason why we do that, whoops, let's see, actually don't select it like that. Hit Alt and click on the line. You'll want to click on this line right here, and then hit E and drag it in. I happen to actually select this box above it as well, and we don't want that. The reason why we did it that way though is, let me just make a cube over here. If we pull this apart, you can see that this is now locked in, and you would think that this would be joined with this and the subdivision modifier would go through. But it's almost like there's two mirrored geometries, and it's because we have a face right here. So if you do it any other way, just make sure there's no faces in there. There's plenty of ways to do it, but just make sure you delete faces and it will become one mesh. That's actually kind of really important. Other than that, we should be good to go. So thanks for watching this video. You might want to just crank up maybe the subdivision on it a little bit, make sure it's shaded smooth, and our line here is gone, and our line here is practically gone as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on for this LEGO character tutorial for the arms.